the screen here? I have enough time on it? Yeah. I don't know when you started it. I started it at the right time.
Hey guys, we're live. People can hear that coughing.
Coffee?
Yep, somebody just coughed.
No, I think she said coffee. Hey, Danny, is my microphone on? Is my mic on? My mic on?
No, it should be.
The following is a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. With over $30,000 and pride on the line, 20 international chess professionals converge in St. Louis for the 2018 Spring Chess Classic. We're racing to the finish line here at the 2018 Spring Chess Classic, the penultimate round. Hello, my name is Ben Simon.
And I'm Vitaly Neimer.
And while things look like they are shaping up pretty clearly in Group A, Group B is a whole nother question altogether. Vitaly, we're going to be in for maybe some fireworks today.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, it's the last two rounds that we got left, and many things are going to be decided today. And I expect a lot of violence on the chessboard today.
Oh, dear. Well, let's take a look at what happened last night in round number 7, right before these last two events. Group A up first.
Yeah, so we had 3 draws in Group A. Alex Onishik drew, Darius Suarez, Yaro Zherbuch drew against Roman Edouard, Jeffrey Jean drew against Sam Shankland. But we did have 2 decisive results. Lazaro Brazon beat with the black pieces Surya Ganguly, and Var Akobian beat with the black pieces against Alex Ipatov. So looks like the black color is doing much better than being white.
Yeah, it's an unusual event. And Varakobian's win does put him, before going into the day, at 4 points, in clear second behind Jeffrey Zhang. And remember, there are no playoffs in this event. So Jeffrey Zhang has a pretty easy path, dare I say, to at least clinching a tie for first. And we'll look more at that in just a moment. But then everyone else is at 3.5 and 2.5.
Yeah, the second place and the third place, we still don't know who is going to take it. Still, everything is very open.
Right. And now the results last night from Group B.
Yeah, so pretty much similar results. We had 3 draws. PD drew against Andrei, Melik Kachian drew against Alexander Fier, Jack Stembulak drew against Aaron Grabinski, and Viktor Mikhalevsky defeated Akshay Chandra with white pieces. JJ Marandi lost to Evander Liang.
Indeed, Mikhalevsky getting his 3rd victory in a row, and that brings us to our standings before today.
Viktor Mikhalevsky is on the top with 5 points. As we say, he's on fire with 3 wins. And behind him, just right over his shoulder, we see Melik, Priyadarshan, and Andrei with 4.5 points. It's going to be a close match.
This is really one of those situations where you're kind of like, oh, with Group B, I kind of wish we did get a playoff, right?
Yeah,
we
yeah,
might
exactly.
have some ties there at the top after 9 rounds have been played. And now going on right now at uschesschamps.com, it's Group A. And 2 of these games have already ended. I'll tell you straight away that Varakobian and Surya Ganguly have drawn their game, as well as Alex Onishuk and Yaro Zherbuch. They have drawn their game as well, Vitaly.
Yeah, so nothing much changes on the standings list.
And the game of the day, the one to watch, should be pretty simple here. Jeffrey Zhang is looking to clinch either a clear victory or at least a tie for first.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, if Jeffrey wins, that's pretty much it. The first place is his. However, Roman Edouard, you probably will try to beat him with the white pieces, and that's the violence I was talking about before.
Oh. And the games going on in Group B happening right now. Only one of these has ended. Akshat Chandra and JJ Ali Marandi have drawn their game. The other 4 games are still active.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen.
The game of the day to watch in this division has to be Priyadarshan Kanapan taking on Melik Kachian, 2 of the top leaders here in Group B. Yeah,
it looks like PD is doing well so far without any loss. So I think that the Melik will try to do his best.
Do you have any other predictions for this round?
Yeah, I think we're gonna see some fireworks on the chessboard.
Lovely. I mean, I think we will too. I think it's a pretty fair thing to predict. The tournament format is as follows. We are finishing up 2 10-player round robins. 90 minutes for the first 40 moves on the clock, and then after 40 moves, an additional 30 minutes is added to each player's clock. There is a 30-second increment from move number 1, and there are no draws allowed before move 30. This is to encourage fighting chess, and as we said, of course, it could be a big factor. Unfortunately, there are no playoffs in this event. The schedule is as follows. Today, we're starting a little bit earlier. Hope you joined us in time. 11 a.m. was when the round itself started, Central Time, and now we're joining you here at 1:30. Tomorrow, it will be the same deal for the final round. 11 a.m. the round starts, and we'll be on the air at 1:30 with you. The closing ceremony is not broadcast. And now let's take a look at the prizes. This is what's all on the line. $22,000 total prize fund in Group A.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. $22,000. The first place will take $6,000, $4,000 for the second place, and $3,000 for the third place. And even the last place will get $1,000.
That $6,000 has Jeffrey Zhang's name written all over it, and I'm not even worried about jinxing him anymore. And the prize fund for Group B, $14,000 total on the line.
Yeah, with the first, with the top place taking home $4,000, $2,500 and $2,000 for the second and the third place, and even the last place will take $500 with him.
Lovely. Vitaly, let's take a look at some of the games. The game of the day in Group A, we have Roman Edouard and Jeffrey Zhang, the two grandmasters going at it, and it's all on the line
yeah,
here.
Exactly. Let's see some of that violence that we discussed before. Jeffrey Zhang against Roman Edouard. Let's look at the current position right now. It looks like pretty equal position. Definitely once White played this last move in the game, Rook to F8, Rook to F1, he's trying to exchange the rooks. So let's try to see what's going to happen after the exchange of the rooks. Basically, Roman is going to try probably transpose himself into some kind of an endgame. Now, with the queens on the board, it's very unclear what is going to happen here at the board. However, if White succeeds in exchanging the queens, I think that the pawn structure, just because the fact that White's pawns are all on White squares, will give some chances for White. Now, it's definitely not winning for sure, but I do like the knight chances. Definitely, in the chess game, the knight can go to all of the squares on the chessboard. He can get there. Well, the bishop can only get to 32 squares.
Right.
So kind of a disadvantage. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the players are going to play. They are at move number 29. This move, Rook takes F1, has not been played yet, but this is kind of what I expect to see. Take, I wonder if Black... also, White is attacking this pawn on C7, by the way, so Black will probably need to defend it somehow, either with the queen to D6 or bishop to D6. Probably with the bishop would be more of a straightforward way, and I think that here White would probably transpose his queen somewhere, maybe queen D3, queen F3, somewhere on the F file. So we might see something like this variation: check, king G2, maybe king G1. We might see some exchange of queens if Black decides to exchange, and this might be a very long game, by the way, just because of this end game. Yeah, we'll see. Usually, as we said, according to to Jeffrey, look at his past games, he was playing much better with Black. So we will see if
right. All of his games that he won were with Black.
Right. So we'll see if he can win this one as well. However, I don't think it's going to be so easy in this position.
Yeah, it is my opinion that this game, if it does go later, I think we should probably stay with it as long as we can. I mean, this could decide the tournament right here.
Yeah, definitely.
Even a draw in this situation, a draw will guarantee that Jeffrey will at least tie for first. So he will clinch first no matter what. It may be a tie. A win will clinch sole first.
Yeah. Let's go to the game of the day in Group B. In Group B, we have Priyadarshan Kanapan against Melik Kachian. All right, let's look at this position. Looks like Melik has the time advantage, 26 extra minutes, 25 extra minutes on the clock, which can make a huge impact. As you know, pretty much most of the games that we have seen in this chess tournament, most of the time people blunder in time pressure. So that might be a huge game changer. So let's look at our board right now. Oh, actually we have 41. So let's see. So knight to d5 was just played by Priyadarshan Kanapan. So this came out probably from the dragon defense. Let's look at what was the opening. E4, c5, knight f3, knight c3, and g6. This is what we call the dragon. Bishop e3, bishop g7, and f3. Castle and queen d2. So the idea for White is that White wants to castle long side. This is what we call the Yugoslav attack. This is one of the most challenging variations against the dragon that we have here. The idea for white will be pushing up his pawns on the h4, g4, basically rolling all over the h file, then coming here with the bishop to h6, and basically penetrating black's defenses. So let's see what happened. Knight c6, castle, and bishop to e6. As far as I remember, bishop d7 is more of a other line that black can play. Also, white sometimes plays bishop to c4, but there are lots and lots of theory in those openings. I'm sure that both of the players came prepared to play. Usually the dragon games, they don't end in a draw. We have lots of decisive results just because of the nature of the game. We have opposite side castling, which means that both of the players will try to attack each other on both of the sides. So white is going to be trying to attack on the king side with h4 and g4. Black is going to try to attack on the queen side, b5 and a5, and that's going to be a race.
Exciting game.
Yeah. Let's see who's going to mate who first. So a few more moves were made. Queen comes to a5, a3, and apparently here white decided that I want to exchange some queens. Let's put the pressure down a little bit. Queen takes d2 and rook takes d2. So really, in this moment, the game is changing its phase to some kind of an endgame. Not exactly an endgame yet, but we definitely won't see those mate threats again. So rook c5 was played, knight went back. We have a few pawn pushes over here. F4, knight d7, and knight to d5. So obviously, white wants to take here on e7 with the knight. Black has to figure out, do I take this knight with the bishop, or do I want just to defend this pawn somehow with maybe king to f8, or maybe somehow with the rook. I would say that this knight is a pretty strong piece on d5. I would consider strongly to take it on d5. As you can see from our video broadcast, it looks like Priya Darshan is pretty relaxed over the game, and Melik is the one who needs to do most of the thinking. But I have to point out that again, this is move number 21 was played, which means that the players have 19 moves to make until time control to get this extra 30 minutes. And in this case, I mean, if PD might find himself in time trouble pretty soon. So let's try this. Bishop takes d5, pawn takes d5. Okay, why can't I take this pawn on d5? Maybe this was a nice trap that white is preparing for black. Knight to c6, attacking the rook and e7. Let's try to defend e7 over the rook. I do have a feeling that white is prepared some tricks, some traps over here. Right now I see that white can just take this pawn on a7. Not one of the most, I would say, tastiest pawns on the chessboard, the a7 pawn, but still, at some point this will become one of the advantages for white, maybe. So it's going to be interesting to follow this game. But as far as I understand, it's probably closer to equal, and I think that Priya Darshan would be pretty happy with a draw, because that would put him to 5.5, if I'm not mistaken, and Melik is going to be with 5 points.
Priya Darshan right now has 4.5 points.
5, right? So he's going to go to 5,
five.
and Melik is going to have 4.5. So he still is going to stay there at the top. On the other hand,
well,
Melik,
I gotta tell you, Vitaly, I believe that they're both at 4.5. Interesting enough. Perhaps we were looking at some.
oh yeah, that was Victor, right? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, Victor was the only one who was leading with 5 points. Yeah,
Right.
so a draw for them. Yeah, they still both of them stay at the top, but maybe somebody on the 5th place or 6th place might win their games and share their places as of right now. So as far as I see right now, Melik made a move, and he played this move, king to f8, just defending this pawn on e7, and it is going to be interesting to see what does white do. My first impression is that my rook here on f1 is aligned with the king, and I wonder, can I just try to play f5, try to open up the f file over the king? maybe also trying to play f6 or take on g6. On the other hand, if I do play f5, I am going to give black this square on e5 for the knight, which I might not do. But overall, I think that I like white's position slightly more solid. All of his pieces are well placed. Yeah, it's gonna be coming to an endgame skill in this game. Let's see one of the other games that I wanted to look at, which was Sam Shankland versus Alexander Ipatov.
Well, Vitaly, we have a result in. I just see right now that Roman Edouard and Jeffrey Zhang have drawn their game in Group A, and this means that Jeffrey Zhang has guaranteed himself at least a tie for first place, and we are most likely to decide the top spot in the tournament this round. We won't even have to think about tomorrow. We'll still be here tomorrow, of course. All the games will be played.
Yeah.
But, yeah, congratulations to Jeffrey Zhang, who will be in first place, maybe alone and maybe with another.
Yeah, good job to Jeffrey. He was leading the whole tournament. He was playing very well, especially with the black pieces. So yeah, so that is not surprising. We've had an interview with his dad. We know how much effort and hard work he's putting into chess, and all of his family is putting into chess and believes in him. So congratulations.
Now, I would like to save the winner's interview, so to speak, for tomorrow, our big main event day. I think we should talk to Grandmaster Roman Edouard.
Definitely, yes.
We haven't spoken to him yet.
Yeah, and he's from France, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, the only French player in this tournament, one of the best players in France.
Yeah. Did you know that in high school I used to take French for 3 years? And
I did too.
And the only thing I know how to say is "Je n'ai pas parlez-vous français," which means I don't speak French.
That's a good thing to know.
Yeah,
that is a
yeah,
good
yeah.
thing to know.
So,
I know that as well. How does that work?
So hopefully, probably Roman knows some English, and we can interview him.
Or we could just sit here in silence and stare at the camera. We'll see how it works.
Yeah.
No, it'll be great to talk to him.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
So they drew their game. So right now, I wonder who can tie the match with Jeffrey. So Jeffrey has 5.
It's only VAR.
Only VAR?
Only VAR. VAR is well, hold on, check that.
And VAR has finished this game with a draw.
That's not. Yeah. I'm doing. There are still some games that have not finished. That the players are 3.5. So it's a really long shot.
Right.
Jeffrey would have to lose tomorrow for the other
somebody else has to
3.5,
win. So yeah,
it's most likely VAR's looking. VAR's looking at it, but but Jeffrey is guaranteed himself first place.
Good job for him. I wanted to go back to this game that we wanted to discuss. Alexander Ipatov playing against Sam Shankland. And
okay, I got to tell you about this game.
Okay,
so I go into the tournament hall and getting the shots of the players at the beginning of the round, and Shankland has played d4.
First move.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Let's get d4 up there.
Yeah,
okay.
Nothing special.
And normally, you have your d4, your c4 players, and you have some kind of idea what you're going to play on move number 1 is black. 5.5 minutes, Alex Ipatov sat there, really grossly intent on figuring out what he was going to play against this d4. I was like, and people were walking by like, what's going on here? His clock's up, everything's right. And then he plays knight a6.
No way. This move, knight a6? What is that?
VAR Kovian's coming by the board. He's like,
yeah.
like
was that a touch move? Did he touch the knight or something?
No, it was definitely with intent. He wanted to play knight a6. He put it there, slapped that clock. So,
wow.
Ipatov, look, he's not in contention. I don't know, what's he doing today? Trying something crazy?
I know. That's how I was saying. I mean, they need to try their chances. I mean, I think it was probably not a preparation, definitely, right? Because he was thinking for 5 minutes. Otherwise, he would just play it immediately with knight a6 with a confidence. But knight a6, I've never seen this such a move definitely not in one of my games.
What do you call this move?
Yeah, that's a good question. I can't remember the name of this opening, if there is such an opening. But this knight looks so awkward, and I don't know. Maybe I can call it the drunk knight defense.
I like it. Let's go with it. The
Right.
drunken knight defense.
All right.
I dig it.
Yeah. So we will see how this knight goes. What happens to him over there. So let's see what White played. White played c4. It looks like White said, okay, I don't care about this move. I just play c4. Obviously, the other move that I would consider here for White is just e4, right? If the opponent allows us to control the center with both of the pawns, this is pretty much what we are going to do. Now, the question is, what would Alexander Ipatov would do next? Because if Black tries to play something like, I don't even know. It's kind of a strange position, but let's try to play maybe c5. Maybe that was the idea, to play knight a6. But then White can take this knight with the bishop and even destroy Black's structure. So I quite can't understand, what is going on here. What's the idea of this move on knight a6? I know that I think I've seen such moves maybe in blitz games or maybe like some bug house games, but. Yeah, interesting idea. Knight a6, c4 was played, and now e5. Wow. I wonder how much time Alexander Ipatov spent on this move, on e5. He just sacrifices a pawn. Very, very creative. Obviously, pawn takes, and now d6. He sacrifices another pawn. What is going on here? White said, okay, that's it. I don't want to take this pawn here. I just prefer to develop my pieces. Knight f3. And now bishop to f5. Very interesting play here by White. And now bishop went to g5, queen d7, knight c3, and pawn takes on e5. They did exchange the queens, and White took on e5, so it looks like White is just a pawn up. But sometimes White does have some difficulties. So for example, now Black wants to play this move f6, bishop f4, and long castle. Very interesting sacrifice by Alexander Ipatov. He's a pawn down, but definitely the idea of this knight here is to come to b4 and to come to c2. So let's see what happens here. e3, knight f6, bishop e2, bishop to b4. Okay, castle, bishop takes c3, and knight to e4. So what Black has achieved is some kind of a positional, I wouldn't say advantage, but I would say a compensation. Looking at those double pawns here on the c file, rook fc1 was played, rook to d2, a very active game by Alexander, bishop f3, and f5. That's what I call violence. Just all the pieces coming together. Bishop going back to g3, rook a to d8, bishop h4. Rook d6. He's just, I really like his style of play. He's just going forward all the time. No backward moves. Bishop e7. Rook to b6. Rook to d1. Rook to b2. Look at that. That's such a funny rook lift. Rook went to d8, d6, b6, b2, and probably now he's going to go to d2.
He's playing like he has nothing to lose. Like the aggression here is amazing.
Yeah. So bishop takes e4. White decides to exchange a few pieces. Takes here, and king to f1. Very interesting endgame. This knight on a6 still feels a bit uncomfortable. He cannot go to c5, cannot go to b4 because of the bishop. Here, defending all those squares. So I wonder what can we do about this knight? So let's see what happened. Knight to b8. Okay, so that's the first move that he went backwards. He said, okay, let's bring my knight back. Was enough of a surprise element in this game. Let's bring our knight back home. Rook c2, rook d1, knight d7 had to be played. We cannot take this pawn on c3 because of checkmate in one move. Knight d7, knight takes, bishop takes, rook d4, and it is the let me refresh the board. Let's see what happened next. We stopped at rook to d4. Black took on a2. Rook takes on e4. Check with a few checks. And a5. I mean, look at this position. It's amazing. So black can already secure a draw. So we have seen this position before. Black checked on a1, king d2, check on a2, king to e1. So if black wants to secure a draw, he can just continue checking white and just repeat the moves. But Alexander Ipatov says, no, I'm playing for the win. I have nothing to lose today. And I play a5. I have this passer here on the a file, and let's see how can you stop me. To be honest, I'll be quite scared about this position, because white is a pawn up, but this pawn is the only passer that I see. But it's really blockaded by his own pieces, and this rook on the a2 is a monster. He's cutting off the king, creating chaos in his position. Those two pawns, c4 and c3, do not do anything. Very big weaknesses. And I just wonder, how can white play here? In the game, white played rook to h4, trying to go for those pawns. Let's try to defend one of the pawns. Let's say I play h6. White can probably, well, I cannot play rook g4, attacking the g pawn, because the bishop is attacking on g4. So I would assume white would try to do something like rook f4 to come to f8, and I probably need to move my bishop, or I can try to play b6 maybe, hide with the king. Let's start to give a check, rook to g8. But I wonder here, okay, you can take all of my pawns, but I wonder what would happen with this pawn on the a file. So take, and I'm going to play a3. And, well, at this moment, white can sacrifice his bishop on a3.
Is that the only choice he has?
Yeah, I mean, it looks this is probably the best choice to stop this pawn. Now, in this case, not only he's going to sack his bishop, but he's going to get the other bishop back. So maybe black needs to be a bit careful in all those variations. But I really like the spirit of Alexander today. Very, very fighting spirit. He plays for a win. And, you know, this move knight a6, this move a5. It's all about the a file today for him. So they are currently at move number, let's see, they are currently at move number 30, which leaves them 10 more moves to make time control. Both of them, well, Sam has slightly more time with 25 minutes, and Alexander has 11 minutes, so it's getting there. It's getting to the time pressure. Yeah. It'll be very, very interesting to see what... and he has played, and I think he pushed the a pawn. I think it was something on the right side.
It looked like it.
Yeah, a4.
Vitaly, have you ever been in a situation like Ipatov where it's late in the tournament and you haven't been performing at your best, and you just throw it all out there, you know, let's play crazy?
Yeah. Sometimes I do that, you know, just for the fun of it. Yeah. But not like with the move knight a6. That's
that crazy.
That's very creative of him. Yes. But now it gives me an idea.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
Knight defense. Here we go.
Yes. Maybe I'll start with knight h6. I think that there is actually an opening which is called maybe the fried fox, if I'm not mistaken, where white plays f3 and then king f2, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, lots of animal names.
The Wandering King.
The Wandering King.
The Wandering King.
Yes.
A favorite of Danny Machuca. Favorite, yes.
A surprise weapon.
Yes. I think Danny Machuca, the guy running the show here, I think he actually has a variant where you have to play the Wandering King. I might be wrong about that, but yeah, it's a crazy game, and everybody laughs and and it's not for me. I don't like.
Definitely a thing to remember.
Yeah.
Interesting. So a4 was played, and let's see what's going on. Okay, so if white takes this pawn on h7, what is black's idea? So I can't play a3 immediately because of rook h8, and I have to give up my bishop. Maybe king d7 here, by the way. And I might take one of your pieces back, the rook or the bishop. So let's go back. What else? Well, we said that after the bishop e8, white can sacrifice his bishop. So I assume that definitely Alexander saw this sacrifice. So I cannot just play a3 here. I will probably have to move my bishop somewhere. To be honest, all of those squares look attractive for black. c6 will attack the g2 pawn. f5 will put him on this diagonal and attacking the rook. e6 will be attacking the c4 pawn. So yeah, there's going to be some kind of a bishop move in this position. I'm not sure where the bishop is going to go. He might go to yeah. All of those squares look very, very attractive. So we will see what is going to happen here. We will come back to this game. Let's try to look at some other games. What is interesting? Well, let's see Viktor Michalewski in Group B versus Aaron Grabinski. Aaron is playing with white pieces. Let's see what has happened in the game. Right now, Aaron is looking pretty good with 2 pieces for a rook. However, black also has not only a rook, but a rook and 2 pawns. So it looks kind of equal to me. But again, looks like Viktor Michalewski is in time pressure with just 4 points. With 4 minutes. It is going to be interesting to see what will be played in this position. It is white to move right now. As everyone remembers, Aaron Grabinski is a pretty fast player. So what can we do here? I don't really want to take on f8 because that's going to just improve black's rook. Okay, let's try to develop some pieces. If I play rook f1, I'm going to lose the e4 pawn. I do not want to do that. So how do I defend the e4 pawn? How do I defend this pawn? Can I defend this pawn? That is a good question. Queen d3 was a very good move. I played my Viktor Michalewski. Cannot see right away a move for white to defend the pawn. If I try to defend it with the queen, queen f3 or queen f4, in this case, okay, this might be actually the idea. And so if black cannot take here on g5 because of knight to f5, and we have this interesting discovered check on the king here, and winning the queen. So it is going to be interesting to see what white will play. If white will play this move, queen to f3. And try to win the game. Let's go backwards. Let's try to look at this position again. Again, they are in move number 30, which gives them 10 minutes to finish. To get to the time control, to get 30 more minutes. And this is definitely going to be an exciting game, although not the game of the day. However, again, Viktor Michalewski is as the top seed. We'll probably try to get some points out of that. Okay, and now I would like to welcome a guest to our show, Roman Edouard. Welcome. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. All right. So you played the game of the day against Jeffrey Jean with the white pieces. So first of all, you're from France, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So. How long does it usually take to come to St. Louis, from Europe? Just maybe like 2 flights, right?
Actually, it was 3 flights.
3 flights.
So around 20 hours.
Okay, interesting. So welcome here. Is it your first time here in St. Louis?
Yes.
Okay. How do you like it so far?
It's very nice. I mean, they really know how to welcome chess players, and it's really nice to play in this atmosphere and with such good conditions. So I'm really happy here.
Nice. Well, welcome. Me and Ben were just discussing the conditions yesterday, in our show yesterday, and at the candidate tournament. If you were watching, there was an interview was done with Alexander, and he said something about the toilet. So we're very happy that you're happy with the conditions here.
It's probably better here than in Berlin, from what I heard at least.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, so maybe we can discuss your game today against Jeffrey. I assume that you came with this fighting spirit. You came to win.
Of course, but at some moment I had to be a little bit wise, otherwise I was going to lose the game.
Okay, so you started your game with c4, the English defense.
Yeah.
And e5, was that expected?
Yeah.
Or?
No, actually it was always playing c4, c5. So e5 came as a surprise, but okay, I knew a little bit what to do, of course.
Nice, yeah.
And yeah, all we played until move 13 was some theory. Actually, at least until move 10 it is the main line.
So g3,
Yeah.
bishop, knight f6.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like, as far as I remember, this line is very fashionable nowadays, just to play g3 immediately instead of knight c3.
Yeah, I mean, now everybody, when you put the knight on c3, everybody is playing bishop b4 on move 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah.
And it's, in general, quite annoying, so I'm
that's
just
why.
playing g3. It has some disadvantages as well, but, well, in that game, my opponent played knight f6 and d5, so we transposed into the main line.
Okay, so bishop g2, d5, take. I don't know if you noticed, but Jeffrey actually won all his games in this tournament with black. 4
Yeah.
points with black, so...
I saw.
Yeah, so it was...
Actually, 4 or 3?
All three
I
games,
think three,
yeah, so...
But, still.
Quite dangerous with black pieces.
Yeah.
So knight f3, this is pretty much all theory.
Yes.
Castle, bishop e7.
Yeah. a3, b4,
A3.
that's also the main line. Bishop b6, and now rook b1 is like supposed to be some clever move, better than d3. The idea is just to control the b3 square, and for example, now if black plays a5, b5, knight d4, the pawn on e5 is hanging because there is no bishop b3. So, well, this is the basic idea of this move, rook b1. So f6 is also the main line, and I had this position with the black pieces a few months ago against Gelfand, and he played b5 and e3 as I did in that game. And well, I must say, at first when I got it on the board with black, I thought it doesn't look dangerous at all. But then I spent some 40 minutes thinking, and I realized that I have many moves, but none of them is really a clear equality. So
you went for it.
Yeah, I just decided to go for it. Actually, I also wanted to go for it 2 days ago against Darius.
Ah, okay. Interesting. Yeah, it's actually an interesting point. So you actually play this position with black as well, which gives you some insights.
Yeah, from time to time. And I played it against Gelfand. Here I think the main move is d3, so I had some idea what to do on the main moves. And he played b5, e3, which I had never seen. So, well, actually, especially today that he was spending quite a lot of time even for the last moves, I thought, well, for sure he will not know this idea, and let's see what you can
All right,
manage.
perfect. So b5, knight d4, and then e3, and knight takes. Is that what happened in the game? Knight takes
Yes,
e3.
bishop f3, and now there are many moves for black. In the game you played knight e5. There is also queen c8.
Right, so
Yeah,
b7
well, the whole idea is that the pawn on b7 is always a problem. So here the main moves are, instead of knight d5, queen c8 is also possible. I think some Russian players played that position, and then after queen c8, d4, take rook d8, and then c6 for black. But it was always slightly better for white. Quite annoying to play for black. Against Gelfand, I played rook b8, but after d4, he played a great game and just somehow crushed me. So knight d5 is maybe the best move. And here, as far as I know, everybody went queen c2, but against Gelfand, I didn't play knight d5 because I was afraid of knight e2, which I played in the game.
Knight e2.
Yes, the idea is
Interesting.
just to play d4, to keep the pieces on the board and to play d4. So here I played queen d7. I thought the only move was f5, actually, to stop d4. And actually, it's maybe true. d4, no, now d4 is e4 and it's just good for black. So after f5, I would not push d4, I would play bishop b2. Now black does not want to push e4 because after bishop g2 I get an extra square on d4 for my knight, and I will open the center with d3.
Right.
So I think here queen d6 for example, and let's say queen c2, and somewhere I want to play, let's say, e4 or d3, bishop g2, and it's not so easy for black to know how to react. So, well, I don't know if white is better here because I didn't really check it deeply with computer, but okay. I
Yeah,
was afraid.
how far can you go, right? It's small number 16.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, just I was afraid to play this position with black, so I thought I should play it with white.
Yeah, that's actually it's a good tip for the viewers, at home. People are watching us, and actually, if sometimes you're playing an opening and somebody's playing something against you, and you lose the game, for example, or you feel uncomfortable,
Yeah,
then you can try to use it as your
Yeah.
weapon for the other side.
And that's also very good, for lazy people to just repeat what other people are doing.
Oh yeah,
It's
definitely,
much less
especially
work.
when
You
it's
don't
good.
have to find an idea yourself.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
So anyway, queen d7, now d4. I thought I should be slightly better here because now black cannot push e4, and any time he takes on d4, of course, is worse.
Mm-hmm.
He played rook d8 in the game, queen c2. Now it's even better than if black takes on d4. Now I can even take with the knight because there is no knight c3.
Mm-hmm.
King h8 he played, interesting move. And now probably bishop g2. I thought it was very strong, this move, bishop g2, but maybe that was not the best. Maybe I should play bishop b2 instead.
And what's the idea of bishop g2? Just
Well,
keeping
bishop
on the
g2, I just want to play...
safe.
Yeah, I mean, it's a safe square for the bishop, and at some point I want to take on e5, and I don't want the bishop and f3 to be hanging.
Oh, okay.
So
just moving the
yeah,
bishop
I mean,
away.
bishop g2 is definitely very logical, but somehow in the game, I think he had enough counterplay. So maybe bishop b2 was much
Bishop
stronger
B2.
to just, force black to do something now.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, and you cannot play e4, right? Because it takes and something
no, e4 just knight b6.
knight b6.
It looks nice. It is some space, but in fact d5 just bishop h3, for example, and maybe then knight c6, knight d6, or just f5, and my pawn on d5 will be weak.
Oh, okay.
Black is completely fine here for sure. So,
Hmm.
so no, I don't want to push e4, d5 so quickly.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay, so bishop g2 and bishop h3, which I thought was very bad, but in fact, so I took on h3, e4, knight b6, and here I realized that my first study was to take the pawn on c7, but then I started to realize that I probably can't take it. So queen c7, for example,
Mm-hmm.
rook d7, I think. And now, for example, if queen c3, with the idea queen f3, I think queen h5 is very annoying. Just attacking the knight on e2, and it's big compensation. I think rook c8, e takes d4 somehow looks
Yeah,
great
all
for
the pieces
black.
coming together.
Yeah, another idea instead of queen c3 was queen c2.
Mm-hmm.
Because if e d4 now after knight f4, I'm winning some material. The queen is trapped, and queen g4, f3, and then knight e6.
Mm-hmm.
But here, just rook c8. If the queen goes to the d file, I think just e d4. And if, for example, queen a2, let's say, just e d4, knight f4, queen g4, f3, queen g5, and now it looks good for white because it looks like I can place my knight wherever I want. But in fact, if there is no tactics, I think black is completely fine.
Yeah, it's not so scary actually. Knight is no
Yeah.
too much of a good squares.
Yeah.
And this pawn on d4.
Yeah,
will
I mean,
start bouncing at some
I
point.
can very quickly be worse here.
Yeah. Okay.
So another option was to first take on e5 and then take on c7. But first of all, one important thing to check was rook takes f2 here.
Ooh.
Yeah, if rook f2, then rook d1 and mate. But king
Right.
f2, computer says. Yeah.
Yeah, this is mate.
Yes, so I have to take with the king, rook f8 check.
Looks pretty scary.
Bishop f4 only move. And
Okay.
ef4, queen e7. At the analysis we thought it was not enough for black, but no, not queen e7, sorry, because here is fg3, but king g1.
King g1.
Yeah. And if f3, rook f2, or maybe rook takes f3.
That's f3.
Yeah, and it's probably not enough for black. It looks very frightening, but then queen e7, and it's just an extra pawn.
Yeah, and all the
Yeah.
back
So,
rank is hanging.
Yeah. Okay, I must confess that I somehow missed this move, bishop f4. I thought after rook f8 something is wrong.
We
and I
are
stopped
only
there.
human,
Yeah,
so.
but then, well, rook takes f2 is of course not forced.
Right.
Here there were many moves for black, and I think he told me that he was considering queen e6, which is actually very smart. It's an extra pawn for white, but black is somehow very active. He wants,
Right.
yeah, I mean, he's very active.
And
And knight
c4.
c4 is coming. If I take on b7, then bishop c5. And
Oh.
this position I just don't like for...
Yeah.
I just
Especially
don't
not
like
in
for white.
time trouble, because maybe.
Especially in time trouble, and Well, I think this position also suits him. I mean, he's a Grunfeld player, and he's quite typical to just give some pawns and open the position. I mean, I really wanted to take this pawn on c7, but then I realized it is probably not good, simply.
A poison pawn.
Yeah.
Okay, so you instead played bishop to e3, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just nice developing move.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But now I think you again played a great move, queen e6. He wants knight e4.
And then attacking just to
Oh, wait,
fork you.
queen e6. Computer wants a4. No, a4 knight c4 looks good for black.
Yeah, I mean this knight. And then you played
Yeah.
d5.
Yeah, I mean d5 is not a solution. I think then it's clear that I'm not better, but I simply could not find another move. Again, the pawn on c7 was hanging, but instead of d5. But then I think ed4 and queen e4, and it's just a draw, I
Right.
believe.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, without the bishop here on g2, you have some weaknesses. The king
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think. I mean, again, it's very frustrating. This pawn is there hanging. But
Yeah, you wanted the fighting chess, but he came fighting prepared as well.
No, I mean, I think he really played brilliant. I mean, this bishop h3 is really hard to find.
Did he play it very fast, the opening?
No.
No,
he
okay,
didn't.
so
He
you had
didn't know
to-
it. No, he simply found great moves, I think.
Oh, okay. So maybe now you can use it as white. Yeah.
As black, you
yes,
mean,
black, yes.
So anyway, d5. When I played d5, I thought I'm not better, but, well, a4, f5 is just in time. f3.
Queen g4.
Yeah, king g2. Now the pawn on a4 is not hanging because I would have h3, just chasing the black queen, and then I would take the knight.
Right.
But he played queen g6, which was a cold shower because I missed this move, and he's returning to take on d5, and now I just forced a draw playing bishop takes b6 because I thought the rest is just slightly worse. You know, if I don't take, he has very easy play. And yeah, rook f8, rook f1.
I think this
It's
is
not-
one of the first positions that I saw when we just started our broadcast, and I said that well, he's gonna take. Actually, somehow I liked white a bit more. Your chances here. I said if you exchange queens, maybe you have some chances. Knight against bishop.
Well, first of all, I think even if I exchange queens, it is just too little. I mean, just put
Yeah.
the bishop to d6, the king in the center. I think it is just a draw. And second, actually, here it is. Well, I mean, I think it is white. We should be a little careful because the bishop on c5 is very strong. I mean, he played. Actually, here suddenly I got afraid of queen h6 instead of bishop c5, but it's not working because if the queen gets to e3 and then bishop c5, it is just very unpleasant
Yeah,
for
just
white. But
almost
I can
like-
take on c7, queen h3 check, and king e1, bishop b4. I have knight c3, fortunately. Otherwise, I'm just worse here. But knight c3.
Right. Nice. So you played bishop c5. Good move.
Yeah, king g2 and okay,
Queen
this is
g5.
just queen g5. I mean, this is just a draw. I see that the engine gives 0-20 for white, but this is just completely.
Yeah.
completely
If you
nothing.
try to exchange queens,
just
then
queen g4, for example.
Yeah, you
It's-
just
I have to go back.
Too many weaknesses.
Yeah, I mean the bishop on c5 is too strong.
Okay. Interesting. Very very interesting game. I mean, yeah. So it looks like. Yeah, it looks like you guys drew a pretty interesting game.
I
So I guess congratulations. But who are you playing next?
I'm playing some leagues now, and well, no strong tournaments in the short future.
Okay.
Maybe later this year.
Interesting. Very nice. Okay. Well, good luck in the round tomorrow. We still
you.
have one more round to go,
Yes.
and so good luck. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining us. And we are going to take a commercial break, and we are going to come back later.
A question on Twitter from Damas. I should not have pronounced that. That was a bit of a trap, yeah?
For those of you who are new to chess, it might look like ba3 is an illegal move here because white advances pawn 2 squares, not 1. But it's a little something we call en passant. And you can do that, but you have to do it instantly. You can't wait for a move, like let's say play king e7, king g2, and now try, because could I do it?
I'm sorry. This is too funny for words.
This is a software glitch? I'm pretty sure there's not a lot.
Lawrence. Hello, Lawrence. Yeah, I'll play 4 against Lawrence. And now he's going to play something against me which we discussed at length during the course of my stay. Yeah, he told me this is excellent. But d5, this was what I was kind of hoping for, because now I think e5 is quite strong. No, Lawrence, this is not how chess works. sadly. It would be much, much more fun if chess actually worked like this. But I don't think it does. Or maybe it does. Well, that's me regretting what I just said. How did I get from there to here is a little bit beyond me. And what's worse, I will never hear the end of it. My quality of life has just gone downhill tremendously because I'm actually sharing the office with the guy.
As the St. Louis Chess Club celebrates its 10th anniversary, the U.S. Championships return to St. Louis for the 10th straight year. This April, America's best players descend on St. Louis to play for the country's top honor. Wesley So and Sabina Feuser will be defending their championships as they face an all-star field. Don't miss America's best battle it out at the St. Louis Chess Club, celebrating 10 years of promoting, teaching, and playing the game of chess. For tickets and more information, go to stlouischessclub.org.
Be surprised, be intrigued, be delighted. The World Chess Hall of Fame in St. Louis is nothing you'd expect and everything you love. 3 galleries highlight the history, culture, and creativity behind the game. Explore chess in ways you never imagined. It's a one-of-a-kind cultural institution where rare artifacts and world-class art play together. The World Chess Hall of Fame. Mind, art, experience.
And we're back here for coverage of round number 8 of the 2018 Spring Chess Classic. I'm Ben Simon.
And I'm Vitaly Neimer.
And during our interview, we had another result, Vitaly.
All right.
We had that crazy game. Alexander Ipatov has drawn his game as black against Sam Shankland.
It seems like there is a lot of violence on the chessboard today, but it's just like everybody is just coming back peacefully.
Yeah, right. And we thought this was going to be the game. There'd be something happening. There'd be a 1 and there'd be a 0.
Yeah.
Not the case.
But they are all fighting.
Right.
Very nice chess. Okay, sounds good. So what do we have left?
Well, in Group A, Daryl Schwartz and Lazaro Bruzon is the last game in progress. And actually, if Daryl looks like he's in pretty good shape, if Daryl wins, and then he wins tomorrow, and Jeffrey loses, then Daryl can share first place. Long shot still, with Jeffrey, he'd have to come back with a 0 tomorrow. But, yeah, an important game nonetheless.
Yeah, very interesting. Actually, this position is very unbalanced. I would assume it probably came from the Sicilian just by the look of the kings. Again, this opposite side castling that we have seen here. Right now, White is leading with let's see, we have a rook and a pawn versus a knight. So it's definitely a material advantage for White. White is also, Daryl is leading on the clock with 30 minutes.
Just made time control.
Just made time control. Okay, let's refresh the board.
So actually, this is Bruzon's 30th move, I do believe.
Okay, so Darius already got 30 minutes, and now it's Bruzon's move. Well, obviously he has enough time to make his 40th move, so he's not in time pressure. And I think that he did make a move. He did play knight to e7, going backwards. I gotta tell you, but once I see such moves when somebody is playing going backwards in such positions, it's not a good sign. Just not a good sign. You feel like you have no space. So let's see, what can I do here with White? Can I put my rook somewhere? Obviously the rook is attacked. I cannot move the rook to d7, for example. I don't want to blunder my knight accidentally. So rook to e5 might be played, just to keep the rook here on the 5th rank, looking at all those knights, defending the knight on b5. And I wonder if black is planning to go back with the knight. Interesting. So what do I do with this rook? Where do I put it? I mean, I can go back here, but then I assume that White does not want to draw with such an advantage. Very interesting. What about sacrificing? Let's go crazy for a second. f5. I'm seeing my queen here in front of this king. f5. Now the knight can take on d5. Lots of calculations. What if I just take this knight on e6 and now I'm threatening a mate on f7? What would black do then? So the rook, who can defend this pawn? That's probably a very tough position for black, just because he's also going to lose this knight on d5. The next move, knight to f4 will probably not help because of queen to d4. It looks like I'm invading into black's camp. It's going to be interesting to see what is going to be played in this moment right now. Is Darius going to play this move f5 or not? Or is he going to go back to e5? But then knight back to c6. That's exactly the position that we have seen before. What else can we play here? Let's see. Okay, what about knight to d6? Knight to d6, and if he takes a rook, can I take his rook? Then he has some kind of a knight c4 check, and then the queen is going to take on c8. This is a very complicated position.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Let's see how it happened from the opening. e4 was played, c5. I feel like most of the games today will played e4, so interesting. c5, the Sicilian, knight f3, d6, d4. Let's see what kind of a Sicilian, what variation we have. We have the Najdorf, a6, bishop g5, one of the main moves, knight d7. There's so much theory here in this line. It's pretty incredible. Just to study this, the Najdorf will take us, some weeks, maybe months, maybe years.
That's the Rolls Royce of chess openings.
Yeah, definitely. Bishop b3, e6. I assume that this was quite a theory. One of the theory lines. Black is attacking on the king side. White is attacking on the. Black is attacking on the queen side. White is attacking on the king side. Bishop to a2. Rook b8. b4. Okay, well that's a bit unusual. This move b4. But on the other hand, Black is planning to play b4 himself. Now, if you kind of pay attention here, Black did not castle yet. He's just waiting to see what White is going to do. It's kind of like a waiting game. He does not want to indicate the fact that, okay, well, I castled here. Well, here you go. You can push all your pawns and pretty much do the same thing as with the Yugoslav attack. So he keeps his king in the center just for a while, feeling pretty comfortable. And b4. Usually I don't like such moves like b4 because obviously we really weaken our king. a3 square, c3 square. The king feels a bit it's a bit shady. So, but knight to b7, bishop to e3. I assume that this was still some kind of a whole preparation. King to b2, and looks like White has defended all those weaknesses. And finally, Black castled h4. And a5. Yeah, these positions are always very complicated, even for engines and computers. Sometimes they don't understand when we sacrifice a pawn or positional advantage. Very, very sharp line. g5, knight h5, knight takes b5, queen to b8. I like that the queen here is aligned in front of the king. And now knight to a7. Wow, okay. So, let's see, why can't we take this knight? I mean, this knight is just completely undefended. Well, the fact is that the knight, now the queen is aligned just with the bishop, so any knight move at in the position is going to be a discovered attack. The only question is, where do I want to see my knight? I do see that this bishop on e7 is undefended, so White can play knight f5 or knight c6 to attack this bishop. Let's go here. Let's move the queen away somewhere, and now knight taking on e6, forking the king and the rook, and it's going to take here on c8. Just gives me a headache just to calculate all those variations. And this is just one of them. So obviously Black did not take on a7, played rook c7, And then the other knight comes to b5. So now, not only attacking the rook here on c7, but also eyeballing this pawn on d6 and defending the knight on a7. So more and more I like white. And it's quite unusual, but white is the one who is attacking on the queen side. Very unusual case, attacking here on the queen side. And then bishop takes b5, they exchange it a few pieces. Knight to d8. And now queen a8. We have a few maneuvering moves. Queen c2, d5. f4. So still white is looking to push on the king side. Take, take. Unfortunately, I think that in this case, black just doesn't have enough pieces here next to the king. So, but he does try, Brazon that is trying to create some counterplay for black. Knight b6, queen to f2, bishop a5, bishop c5, and bishop takes f8, king takes f8, taking on e6. So let's jump to our current position. Let me just refresh our game here. So this is the current position right now in the game. So black just made this move, knight e7, and white has a lot of time to think. He has 22 minutes, but remember that is pretty much it. White just got the time control with an extra half an hour. So I wouldn't be spending as much time with white on this situation. All right, we are going to come back to this interesting game, but right now we have a special guest with us, Alexander Ipatov.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Very interesting game that you played today.
Yeah, I know.
So let's look at the game. I know that well, first of all, everybody was discussing the first move.
Yeah, I just came up over the board.
Over the board, yes.
Yeah.
Ben actually was mentioning that he was at the playing hall when you were there, and you were thinking for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
on the
because Sam is known for his opening preparation, and I just wanted to play interesting chess.
Good.
I don't play much, and I want to show composite organizers and just not to play for draw, but to play some creative stuff.
Nice. Ever seen this move before? The knight
no,
a6?
No, it just came out of the board.
Just
yeah, I was just trying to pick a move. I thought c6, knight a6, knight a6 immediately, and then after he played c4, I thought maybe e5 is interesting. So it's just random stuff over the board.
Okay, very very interesting. Probably knight h6 won't be as good because the bishop can take.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So I was always, after I saw this move, I was trying to research the name of this opening, and I couldn't find it, but I gave it a name, and you let me know what you think about it. I called it the Drunken Knight Defense.
Drunken, okay.
You approve.
Has anyone played this movement before?
I haven't seen. I haven't researched this move, but it's going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
Might be the first one would definitely who is going to. Played by a grandmaster.
Yeah, okay.
So you might have lots of followers afterwards.
And if you played e4, I thought to play c6, the first move. Oh, even here, the same thing, yeah? I'll play c6 here. And the thing is bishop a6, pawn e5, no?
Yeah. That's actually what I was mentioning when I looked at it. So why didn't I play e4 with the idea of taking on a6?
Yeah, that's what I was playing. That was my preparation for 2 moves. But after c4, I was out of books. I was thinking.
So queen a5 and then
queen a6. It's just bishop here. I don't know.
Yeah, you have 2 bishops. It's actually might be better.
Yeah, he shouldn't take it. Yeah. But after c4, I tried to justify move knight a6 somehow.
How was his reaction after
he was
knight
thinking.
a6?
I think he found it a bit disrespectful, but it just...
you have nothing to lose, right?
Yeah.
It's almost the 8th round, so you're playing fighting chess.
Yeah, I'm -2, but I think I played some creative in fighting chess. I lost 2 games, but in both games I tried to get something more, and I lost because I lost, not because...
Yeah, very good. So he played c4?
e5? I don't know.
No, e5, yeah.
It should be objectively correct, of course, but chess is a practical game, and he has to...
Find the moves.
Yeah, he has to find the moves, and
so
also there is psychological factor that he finds it disrespectful, and he might get angry and play some over aggressive moves, and so yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so he took on e5 and then d6.
Yeah.
So there is such a sacrifice d5 and then e5, right? Immediately there was such opening, right? If you play
D4?
Yeah.
D5?
D4 and then E5.
I immediately. Yeah, I think Christian Kirilla played against me in Blitz.
Right. So.
He had some
but this is a bit
preparation,
different because there's no
Yeah.
knight and c6.
Yeah, but knight a6 is not so badly placed actually, because after white played c4, I want to jump to b4 maybe, and the pawn c7 is protected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Could we also maybe flip the board? I mean, just maybe,
Yeah. Let me just try here.
Control F. Is it
That's a good question. How do I flip? I've never used this option before.
Okay.
Flipping the board, but we'll try to figure this out.
Okay.
I want to challenge you to see how white felt.
Okay.
How do you play against knight a6 if it was your game?
Yeah, it's a different perspective now.
Yeah. So d6, and I played knight f3, so looks fine so far.
I need to develop the piece. I mean, so I said bishop g4, bishop f5. I spent like another 15 minutes or 10 minutes. I played bishop f5, bishop g5, and a queen d7.
And knight c3.
I think I have to take, because I mean I would love to play some like useful move, but I don't have any useful move, because if I develop a piece, he'll just take bishop e7 and he'll be much better. I mean, I don't have a choice, I think, here.
So take, queen takes,
Yeah.
and bishop takes, and although you do get to an endgame with a pawn down, but as you said, this knight might come to b4.
Or bishop to b4, yeah.
Or bishop to b4. You also have some, right now f6 is coming sometimes.
Yeah, I have to play bishop e6 first to attack the pawn, and then bishop f4, and then my idea was to play f6 and win the pawn back, but then I realized he might be just better in the endgame. So for example, he plays f6 here, he plays knight f3.
So f6 here.
No, sorry, bishop e6, bishop f4, f6. So how bishop f4 he played, I think, right? f6 here, knight f3, bishop takes c4, and long castle. And I think it's just slightly better for white. White wants to play e4.
Yeah.
So that's not what I wanted to get him in. If I wanted to suffer, I could have.
Do not allow him to castle.
Huh?
Do not allow him to castle.
Yeah. If I want to get something like that, I would have played some other opening and try to suffer. But I mean, like my idea was not to suffer, but just to play some creative.
Super creative game we have here in this chess tournament. So castle.
Yeah.
And e3, knight f6, pretty.
No, I think it's very interesting move. I spent like another 20 or 25 minutes here. I couldn't figure out what to do. I had moved like g5, but he just plays bishop g3 instead of
g5.
Bishop g3, I just create weaknesses for myself.
So he cannot take because of.
Yeah, it's not clear. Maybe he can take, but I don't
f6.
Why to do that?
Right. So g5 and then bishop g3, you said.
Yeah, and just he wants to play knight f3 and then pawn on g5 is attacked and knight d4. So I mean, yeah.
Do you have any kind of chances that maybe h5, or that's too much?
I think h4.
h4.
Maybe, or yeah, something like h3 maybe.
Very sharp game.
yeah. I mean, I have to be careful because I might just get the ruined position. So
interesting. Knight f6 was played, bishop e2, and now bishop b4.
Yeah, I mean, and here I think I was very happy about my position.
Yeah.
I know what computers say. Computers say it's okay.
It's quite equal, I guess, but I mean, we are
is much better for black already.
Yeah. And then you took on c3, which was a very good move.
Yeah.
It takes, and now knight e4. So really now you have this, I guess, positional compensation.
Yeah, it's just fantastic position because his pieces are out of play. Knight on e5 and bishop on e4 are not playing. He has a lot of pawn weaknesses, and then maybe invading on d file as well.
So rook f to c1.
Here I just played very bad. I think I should have. Knight rook d2 is okay, I think.
Yeah, rook d2. I was saying from this moment on, actually from all of your game, you always played forward with all of your pieces. I really like that.
Where, in this tournament?
Yeah, like in this game.
In this game, I tried to.
Especially with the rook coming in to d8. Yeah.
I think battery is low.
Okay, so let's see. So what was played? So
bishop f3. I think I should have played knight ac5 after bishop f3. This is just.
After knight a c5, right? Bringing the other knight to the game.
Yeah. So Sam wanted to take and play f3, but I think after f3 I have maybe f6 simply.
f3. Now f6.
Oh, computer gives knight c5 maybe. I said this. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like both of them are pretty good. I mean, this rook on d2 is
even
creating some chaos.
So e4, rook e2,
e4,
rook e2,
rook e2,
rook e1. Yeah. Sam was saying like it's a draw, but. I just take and rook d8. Well, it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to play all those.
This is
those
not
moves.
so obvious because I like. What happens if f6 instead of
knight c5? Here.
Yeah. Just
F6.
sacrificing another pawn, but white bishop is like out of
Yeah,
play.
this pawn structure is quite funny.
Yeah, bishop e5, and here just
Take on.
need to take on c4. Yes. I don't know.
You can probably not take here.
He cannot
right?
take because of rook g8. Yeah, and I
Right.
thought I would have played this position, but the thing is that I didn't play it because of some other line, because of knight f3
So
instead of f3, knight f3.
let's see.
It's moved to f17, knight f3. I thought, but even here, I mean, yeah, even rook b2 computer gives. I
Yeah.
was thinking rook f2, knight g5 was another interesting line, but yeah, I guess it's not so good. Yeah. Knight g5, yes, like Petrosian style, like knight f2 and knight e4 check. Yeah, and
This
so
knight
that-
is beautiful. on
Yeah,
the
but I think
fly.
he just plays king f3 and king e2.
King
Yeah, then if I get this position with my knight on e4 and bishop on c4, I think black is close to winning, no?
Right.
Because his rooks don't
All
want
the
anything.
white squares are yours.
Yeah, but then because of concrete reasons, I mean, like king f3
Knight d2.
and king e2. Yeah, and I cannot get what I want. I mean, if
You,
knight
only,
c-
you can only get the knight on c4, not the bishop on c4.
yeah, but then I think yeah, e4 maybe or something. But maybe here it's not so clear, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
very,
if-
very interesting game. I mean, you
Yeah.
have so many options. So
Yeah.
hard to choose sometimes. The clock is ticking.
Yes.
Gotta make a move.
And I spent a lot of time on the first like couple of moves, so I didn't
Yeah.
have time to play because after that I liked my position at the knight e4, but I don't think I played the right moves. I don't know.
Interesting. So you played instead f5, which I like in the game. I mean, you still want to control all the light squares.
Yeah, but after that I cannot play f6 and like attack his knight.
Okay.
But I thought maybe his knight is out of play on e5, so it was a bit.
Yeah. So he played bishop g3, preparing against g5, I guess. Maybe he was scared about g5 or.
I think he wants to
Oh,
play bishop
f2.
d1. He wants to protect pawn f2 and play bishop d1 f3 or something like this.
Right. Rook h d8. I mean, I really like this rook lift now. Rook comes to d6,
Yeah.
p6, p2.
Yeah, but I felt like I lost coordination a little bit, so I was a bit angry at myself that I didn't play the other move, what we just looked.
So bishop to h4.
Yeah, I think he defended well here, although I think after bishop e7, rook b6, this would happen. Maybe he had rook d1 here, but I don't know.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
d1.
and then rook b2, knight d3. So
He had to play knight to d3.
I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, just maybe.
Going back.
Yeah, this was the repetition I saw. So I was very angry because I didn't pose any problems. But what happened was also good for me, I think.
So take. Now rook takes d2, rook takes d2,
Yeah, king f1,
king f1.
knight
Time to
b8.
bring the king.
I don't have a choice. I mean, I think it's
Yeah, now it's time to bring the knight back.
yes. Unfortunately, it didn't go to c5. King e1,
King e1.
knight d7. This looks very Droish, but in fact, I mean, I think I could have posed more problems.
Right, because of the rook here on c2.
Yeah, and
He needs to find the right moves.
yeah, with opposite color bishops, I mean, pawns are not so important. I mean, it's about like controlling squares and pass pawns. And activity also, of course. Knight d7.
Knight d7, take, and rook d4.
d4, yeah.
And now we found an interesting idea, a5.
Yeah, I repeated moves just to get some time.
Some time,
because I mean, I lost both my games in time trouble.
Yeah, here I was looking at the game live and I said, well, it's very good that you did not accept the draw. They're still
I mean,
fighting.
yeah. I mean,
Very nice.
I'll get back to school. I mean, like in 2 days. So I want to enjoy as much as I can.
Yeah.
But
So a5 and then rook h4, and I assume that here you were trying to figure out how do you.
I didn't have time, but I think it was a bit dangerous what he did because I mean, I think a4, and Sam told me after the game that rook h7, b6, yeah, check. He told me that rook d8, I think, yeah. I had king c6. No, check first, king e2, and then king c6.
King c6. It does look very dangerous for him.
Yeah, and then I just want to bishop e6. I want to play, right?
And take on c4.
He said, I mean, it's lost for white. I mean, lost to lost. What he said. I just missed, I mean, this idea because I always want to play c5, and like king c6 is just stands on the way of the pawn. But I didn't realize that. I mean, I want to play bishop e6, take, and then I mean, different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, computer actually says black is much better. So maybe in practical game.
Yeah. So instead, you play bishop e6 immediately.
Yeah.
So let's see what's the difference.
Yeah, it was a good move. I mean, I just missed
rook
this idea.
d1.
I just missed this idea to exchange rooks.
And now you have to exchange rooks. There's
I
no
think
way
so,
for you.
sure. It's not. I mean, if I don't exchange rooks, I will win one pawn back.
Alright, so check.
Yeah.
Bishop takes c4.
King e1.
King e1 and rook a2. You're trying to keep them on the board, but
Yeah,
he's very persistent.
Yeah. That's why I had to play king c6. I mean, and then
He doesn't have that.
yeah,
So rook a1.
yeah.
And then you just guys just repeated the moves. Agreed for a draw afterwards.
Yeah.
Very interesting game. Very creative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who are you playing next?
Edouard Romain from France.
Edouard Romain, yeah.
Yeah.
He also had a pretty good game today. And yeah, you said you go to school here, right?
Yeah, I go to St. Louis University.
Just low, okay.
Yeah,
So you have some teammates with you guys here playing the same tournament.
yeah, except Francesco, everyone is playing. Yeah. Francesco Rambaldi, he's focused on school, but everyone else is here.
Yeah. How do you usually manage, school work and chess tournaments?
Well, during school I was completely focused on school. Now during tournament it was a bit difficult to get back to chess because I haven't played for a long time. So that's why I a bit suffered here. I tried to play creative chess, but I mean in time trouble I was just always missing something and losing.
Yeah, it happens.
So, but yeah, in terms of like creativity, I'm satisfied with my play. I mean, the quality of games, just except just those ridiculous moves in time trouble.
Nice.
So.
And what's your major, by the way?
MBA.
An MBA?
Yeah, I'll have graduated
Yeah.
in May. I mean, it was a 1-year MBA from St. Louis University.
Nice. I also have an MBA, but so maybe you open a business one day.
Yeah, but the thing is, to open a business nowadays, I mean, there's no need to have MBA.
Right.
Yeah,
that is true.
MBA is a very interesting story. I mean, like there are 200,000 degrees granted every year.
Right.
And I think, I mean, just the quality of education, everything across all countries is just dropping. I mean,
okay.
and MBA is not MBA that used to be like 40 years ago.
I see.
Nowadays, everyone can get an MBA. It's just a matter of taking a loan and paying back for next 20 years.
Yeah, depends. I mean, some of them is a couple of years. I mean, I guess it depends on the school, but you're from Turkey, right?
I'm from Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Yeah, so I play Turkey, but I'm from Ukraine originally.
I see. So, how was it for you to coming here to St. Louis? Big change, or?
I like traveling. It's just it's okay for me. Whenever I am, I mean, I don't really feel difference. Turkey, Ukraine, Spain. I mean, America.
Yeah, we the chess players kind of get used to the hotel life, I guess.
Hotel life, yeah. Airport life, yeah. So I mean, I'm quite insensitive to this. So.
Okay. Interesting. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Good luck in your next round. I'm actually going to be very curious. What move will you choose with white tomorrow? Please surprise us.
With white, I mean, I would prefer to put some pressure. I mean.
Okay.
But with black, I mean, I just didn't want to suffer.
I think that knight a6 put a lot of pressure today. Very creative game. So thank you so much for joining us. And we are going to go into a short commercial break, and we're going to come after.
A moment comes in chess when you need to test yourself at a different level. Chess24 Premium offers the tools that you need to reach your maximum potential. From hundreds of interactive video lessons to becoming part of the Chess24 community. You can analyze with friends or coach your students live. You get 24/7 coverage of chess news and events, access to premium analysis and commentary, and the chance to interact with grandmasters and other top players and coaches. Get advice from the best and even challenge them to a battle. Be the best chess player you can be. It's time to level up your game with Chess24 Premium membership.
As the St. Louis Chess Club celebrates its 10th anniversary, the U.S. Championships return to St. Louis for the 10th straight year. This April, America's best players descend on St. Louis to play for the country's top honor. Wesley So and Sabina Feuser will be defending their championships as they face an all-star field. Don't miss America's Best Battle It Out at the St. Louis Chess Club, celebrating 10 years of promoting, teaching, and playing the game of chess. For tickets and more information, go to stlouischessclub.org.
There's a weekend vacation, a one-tank trip in a nearby city you won't want to skip. St. Louis is the stop for non-stop fun. So much fun for your family, infinity plus a ton. There's museums full of art and super fun slides. Upside-down concretes, twisty-turny rides. Houses full of magic, some with butterflies. Gardens growing flowers, parks with giant eyes. St. Louis is the stop for non-stop fun. So much fun for your family, infinity plus a ton.
Be surprised. Be intrigued. Be delighted. The World Chess Hall of Fame in St. Louis is nothing you'd expect and everything you love. 3 galleries highlight the history, culture, and creativity behind the game. Explore chess in ways you never imagined. It's a one-of-a-kind cultural institution where rare artifacts and world-class art play together. The World Chess Hall of Fame. Mind, art, experience.
And welcome back to coverage for the 2018 Spring Chess Classic. It's the penultimate round, round number 8. My name is Ben Simon.
And I'm Vitaly Neimer.
We want to thank Alex Ipatov for coming in and sharing his thoughts on that strange and yet oddly aggressive first move.
Oh yeah, definitely, very, very exciting. Well, I'm going to be very excited to see what he's going to play for us tomorrow.
Vitaly, you said that there is a couple of exciting games still going on.
Oh yeah, definitely. So let's jump into it. Let's start with the game of the day in Group B. Viktor Michalewski versus Aaron Grabinski. So we left before with the game. We said that White had 2 pieces for a rook. White still has 2 pieces for a rook, and Black has now a rook and a pawn. However, Ben, usually in endgames, the rook sometimes is much more effective than 2 pieces. I'm not sure why, but usually when the rook just slides behind the pawn and just supports its way all the way through, just the knight and the bishop don't have the same coordination between them. So in this case, both they made time control. 45 moves have been played. Aaron is always on the lead on the time. However, now it is Victor's move, and I wonder if he's going to play this move, rook to a7, or what about this move? Maybe rook to b6. Can he play this move? Well, actually not, because of knight e8 check. So there's there are some threats that White is creating.
That's a fork.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we don't want to get forked.
No, that's the objective.
Yeah. Can I play rook a7 here? Can I play rook a7 and just start pushing my pawn? Well, I can probably, but it's not going to be so easy, because still the White's bishop here is defending here on a4, and the rook as well. Maybe White can just play something like king g4 and attack those pawns. Let's try something else. What about this move, a4? I wonder if Black can play this move immediately. The rook cannot take on a4 because I'm going to lose my bishop. The bishop cannot take on a4 because I am going to lose my rook. Not exactly my rook, but...
Uh-oh.
You feel that?
He's going to get forked.
We are going to get forked again. Rook b4.
You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. Otherwise you don't get a fork, right?
Yeah. The objective, all you have to do, it's really not that hard, Vitaly, is just not get forked.
Yeah. That's a show here at the St. Louis Chess Club.
Actually, it's called Don't Get Forked, yeah. In this game, of course, we're not playing Ryan Chester's game, so this is not getting forked, yes.
Yeah. So a4 would be an interesting move. Obviously, in this case, Black cannot play... White cannot play this move knight e8 with a fork, because we just take it. We just take the knight, and we are actually cannot take the rook because we are pinned.
Yes.
So I wonder if there's a new show coming, Don't Get Pinned.
Well, it looks like Grabinski might not be a good contender for either of those shows right now.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see. Let's refresh the board just in case to see if a game was played, if a move was played. So no, not yet. Interesting game. If Victor wins this game, is it going to almost secure his first place?
If Victor wins this game, he will, much like Jeffrey, he will secure at least a tie for first. Because there are no playoffs.
He's going to have 6 points, right?
He's going to have 6 points. And there's, Kacyan and Canapan, I misspoke. Their games are not over yet. So, no, he would not secure anything with only a win yet.
Yeah, well, let's then jump to that game, the game of the day in Group B, Kacyan versus Canapan. Let's see what we have here. Wow. Well, first of all, PD is leading with 3 pawns up. That's almost like a piece, like a free piece. But definitely Black will not stand by and just watch lose the game. So probably he's going to try to annoy White by checking him. So check. Now, if the king will go to c2, black has this option by playing rook to c3 check. This is going to be very, very strong for black. If I try to come to b2, well, I really don't want to put my king in front of this bishop. And now we have a bunch of discovered checks, such as rook takes on c4. And I feel like this will not be white's choice. So if we go backwards, if we go a little bit to that position that we have on the board, if black checks on h3, white, let's see, how can I defend? How can I defend from a check? Well, as we say, the best defense is offense. So I'm going to play king e4. And if the rook takes on b3, I'm going to check him. King takes, has to take. And now king takes on e5. Well, this endgame now we transpose into a rook's endgame. And even though black, for example, can get this pawn on d5, if I get this pawn on g6 with my king, those protected passed pawns, a pair of passed pawns, are going to easily win the game for white. There is no chance for black for any kind of for a draw. So I think that right now Melik is thinking, he is right now at this position, and he's thinking, oh my God, how can I save this?
Right.
So Kanepan has right now 4 points?
4.5.
4.5. So if PD will win this game, he's going to be at 5.5. And that means that still the first place will not be decided.
Correct. Yeah, so this is a big game here. This could be a big one for Priyadarshan as far as the final standings go.
Yeah. Let's see. Do we have any games left in Group A? We do. We have Lazaro Brazon versus Darius Viritz. And we left last time this position when black has played this move knight to e7, attacking the rook. Rook was played to e5, knight to c6. They go back and forth, knight to e7, and now white decides, no, okay, I don't want to draw. I mean, I'm an exchange up, and he played queen to e3, giving away this his exchange. Knight takes on d5, rook takes d5, and white is a pawn up. However, his king is slightly, I would say, maybe more exposed. I mean, the queen here is just in front of the king. Bishop to b6. And now white has played queen to e4. Very interesting position. If it was black to move, immediately two games come into
Pardon
mind.
me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
It is a bit dusty here, right? Queen to e4, and now black can either take on f4 with the knight or with the queen, or I'm also looking at this move knight to c5, just forking everybody. It's all about the forks today. So let's try to make a move. Let's try to take with the queen. Queen takes, knight takes, and let's look at this position. The rook is being attacked, rook d7, and there is black is going to experience some problem here with the pawn on f7. Even after knight e6, this will not help him because of knight d6 or some sacrifices. For example, rook takes f7 and knight to d6. The king has to move somewhere, and I'm going to take here on c8. That does not look so promising for black. So black right now is thinking, how should I play here? And by the way, so Brazon has more time on the clock. If you can see from the live video, he's kind of covering his ears. Maybe both of them is kind of covering his ears. Usually, some chess players like to use this tactic, as for myself, just in case if there's some kind of a noise coming in. But it's pretty quiet here at the chess club.
It's pretty quiet up there, yeah. They're playing in what we call the boardroom here. And the boardroom is actually a very versatile room here at the club. If you come and get a tour, it may not look the same from one time to another. it's not only do they have board meetings here with the St. Louis Chess Club, but also that's where the Sinkfield Cup is played, the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz, the very best in the world. Sometimes if we have open tournaments, we'll have the top boards in the boardroom because it's the nicest. It's not always the best well lit, as we can see. It doesn't look that dark in there, I promise you. Some of the boards have lamps on them, though, if they're in darker areas of the room. But it is the swankiest room of the chess club, I will tell you that. It is a nice place to play.
Yeah, definitely. I know that for myself. I've played in many chess clubs before, and this is probably the most unique chess club. You know, lots of conditions. You know, very good chairs, very comfortable. Lots of light coming in. Very nice boards, DGT boards. Sometimes you just like the feeling of the wood instead of the regular plastic. Snacks. The players get some snacks.
They got some dried mangoes or something up there too.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Drinks, even you can even take some Red Bull or some coffee.
Yeah. Do players? I know it's not as many players as one might think drink coffee during a game. Does that give them like jitters or anything like that?
I think the caffeine makes you go to the restroom a lot.
Okay.
But which we have many restrooms, so that's not a problem. But sometimes during time pressure, it might become a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
and these two players in particular, Spirits and Bruzone, have an equal lifetime record against each other. They're no strangers. They've played 4 classical games, 2 draws, and 2 decisive games for both players. And they've also played in some Rapid and Blitz games as well. The World Rapid Championship, they had a draw. Millionaire Chess, Maurice Ashley's a big tournament that he organized a few years ago. He had 3 editions of those. They played there 1 year. And actually last year at the Spring Classic, with the colors reversed, the game was a draw between these two. So no strangers to each other.
Yeah, yeah. Some players, when they compete against each other, they just draw all the time.
Yeah. High-level players right here.
Yeah. Okay, so we are going to come back to this game. Let's jump in back to Group B. Who else do we have? We haven't discussed this game. Jack Stambulak versus Alexander Fear. Have not touched this game yet. They are at move number 62. And just look at the time. Immediately I can see that Jack is getting to that time pressure. No more 30 minutes. Just playing on increment and those 6 minutes. Alexander Fear with 55 minutes. Wow, that's a 50-minute advantage over there. That's pretty nice. Alexander can definitely afford it himself just to grab a coffee or take some time. So let's see what's going on here. So Queen F3 was played in the game. Let's try to exchange queens and see what happens. So right now in this position it's going to be white is a pawn up. Now, if black manages to exchange the rooks, take the rook off the board, then we will see pretty easy draw for black, in my opinion, because we have the opposite color bishops on the board. However, it is not so easy for white to exchange the rooks. I'm sorry, for black. Well, let's try to play this move, rook to d8, attacking this pawn, d5, pawn takes. And I assume I have to take with the bishop, because again, if I take with the queen, with the rook is going to take me back. So rook takes on bishop takes on d5. Now, as white, I kept my pieces on the board, but the problem is, what am I going to do next? I mean, this bishop here is on d5 is pinned. The rook has to defend the bishop. So what am I going to do? I'm going to have to bring my king in. But it is black to move, so I wonder what to do. If black manages to exchange all the pawns and then maybe sacrifice his bishop for the last pawn, well, that's a theoretical draw. We're going to have a rook versus a rook and a bishop. So that might be one of the ideas. If I bring my king here to f8, king g2, king e7, king f3, what do we do next? Okay, let's make a waiting move. Bishop c5, king e4. Now, if I bring my king to e4 to defend the bishop on d5, now I'm planning to move my rook somewhere, to slide it to a1, or to b1 and to b7. Well, now I left all of my pawns undefended, especially this pawn on g3, which is the base of the pawn chain. And let's see, can black play bishop to f2, trying to annoy us? In that case, white might bring his king backwards, and it might end in a draw. So that's just speculation. So let's refresh the board. Let's see what happened in the game. In the game, black decided not to exchange the queens. Played queen to b2. Interesting. So black is continuing his fight. Now wants to take here on d4. I would assume white will at some point will have to push this pawn to d5. The only question here is, can black manage and play something like rook to c3? I mean, I'm getting slightly worried about this king on h3. Still not too much, because we have rook to d3. But this king feels a little bit more unsafe than the black king. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what will happen in this game. Let's jump back to our game of the day. Viktor Michalewski versus Aaron Grabinski. We left it in this position. Well, white played rook c4, and we said black could have been played a4, maybe. But instead, black played king to h6. The idea is to defend the pawn on g5, just in case, and bring the king out of the fork. So Victor definitely does not want to get forked today.
Yes.
So king h6, knight to b5 was played, rook c to c8, and now it is white to move. It's very difficult here for white to play. First of all, the chances for white to win here are almost none. I mean, at some point those pawns are going to be exchanged, and it's going to be super difficult. If we exchange one of the rooks, that's pretty much it. There's no chance here for white to win, but there are definitely chances here for black to win this position. So let's try to make a move. What if I go back with the knight to d6? Maybe rook goes to c7. I think we had a move here was played in the game. Let's refresh the board. And rook to b3 check was played. Okay, always go forward. Now it's white to move. So let's see, what is the idea? If king is going to g4, what am I doing with my rook? Maybe rook b8. But if I play rook b8, then knight f7 might come. Knight might take on g5. Very, very interesting. So rook to b3 check, and now it is white to move. Almost looks like from the video that it's Victor's move. Almost looks like he is the one who is more concentrated in the game, but no, it's Aaron's move. He's just taking his time to think about the position. He's probably thinking, okay, where should I move my king? Forward or backwards? It's a big decision. Usually you would like to move it forward, but maybe there are some tricks that black has prepared for white.
Yeah, judging from the body language, it is a little reversed.
Yeah.
Aaron just reached for his king, but then had second thoughts.
Yeah. Well, he can touch the king. I mean, probably the move will be made by the king.
Right.
The only I see it going backwards, right? So king went to g2. Good. It's a small win for black because now a white king went backwards. He is cut. So the king is not in the game, which gives black some chances to play king h5 maybe and g4 in the future. But right now, black needs to figure out where am I putting this rook on c8. Where do I put it? I mean, I can put it on, well, d8. I'm going to get forked, so I got to be careful. Probably rook c7, I would say. Bring the rook back. And maybe we're going to see again knight to b5. But if white is trying to play this move knight b5, black has a small trick here. Rook takes, and I take the knight. However, if I remember correctly, this endgame might end in a draw. If white puts the rook here on a6, I'm not sure that black can win this. Usually in such endgames, even with the a pawn and the g pawn, white succeeds in making a draw, even without these pawns on g6 and the a6. So if king h5, then rook a8, I'm going to come here to meet the black king from behind, and actually it's going to be a mate. If I'm going to play rook h8, it's going to be a mate. So let's try to check us. And again, I need to check us again. King g2. Yeah, this is going to be a draw. So maybe this trick is not working into black's favor. This is going to be a long game. I always say that. But it might be a long game. Let's see who else do we have. If we have any kind of developments, let's look at the game of the day. Melik Kachian against PD. As we said, black did play rook h3, and now PD did play king e4, went on the offense, and black played bishop to b2, defending from this threat of c5 check. But I really like white's position more and more. I really think that black has almost no chance to save this game. I probably need to move my bishop somewhere. The question is where. Well, my first line of thought is to play bishop to a4, maybe bishop to e8, and then just grab this pawn on g6. Once I grab this pawn on g6, really there's almost no way for black to stop all those pawns. I mean, it's going to be 4 pawns up. And to be honest, I cannot see how black tries to create any counterplay. He can play rook c3, but then I can play either a check, or I can just defend with the bishop, and the rook might come to h6 and again take this pawn on g6. I like white odds in here.
Yeah, it looks like Priyadarshan is in position to take the live lead. I stress the word live,
right?
Because at the end of the day,
yes,
he'll still be up there. But good for him.
Nice. Okay. Well, who else do we got?
So we have one game left in Group A still, Daros Spirits and Lazar Brazon, and then we have 3 games still going on in Group B. I think we've glanced at all of them.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think that none of them will end soon. It's all kind of an endgame games. All of them are after move 40, which give them some extra time to play. And it's exciting. It's exciting because we can see that people are still fighting even at round number 8.
Right. Well, these players, they're going to play for a little bit longer. And our time is drawing nigh. Now, tomorrow, we will be on as long as it takes to see the winner crowned, or winners crowned in the event of a tie, because there's no playoffs. But in the interim, let's take a look at the standings so far in Group A. There is one game still remaining, and yeah, Jeffrey's at the top, Var is at the top, and either Daro and Lazaro, if one of them wins, they're at 4.5. So they're going to shoot right up that, right up the charts there. The players are really close together. I mean, it looks like Jeffrey at the top is really staggered far, but the players are really still grouped together quite close.
Everyone has a chance.
Yes. And it all rides on the games tomorrow. These are going to be the final round pairings for our Masters division. Okay, so Jeffrey Zhang will be meeting Alex Onishuk, Ipatov, and Edouard. We get some good games here. Bruzona and Akobian. That could be important.
Yeah, but that might be even the game of the day. Akobian against Lazar Bruzon. If Bruzon wins, they're both going to have 4.5 points, and that might be the game that which decide for the second and third place.
Yeah, for sure. And in our Challengers division, let's glance at the standings here. I mean, there's still 3 games going. You can't get too much out of this, but here they are.
Yeah, so we have Viktor Michalevsky and Andrei Gorovets at the top with 5 points. And then we have Melik Kachian and Priyadashar Kanapan, which are facing each other right now with 4.5 points. It's very strong competition at the top. We said that Viktor Michalevsky might have a chance to win, although it might end in a draw. So he will probably be in the lead with 5.5 or 6 points. After him, Andrei Gorovets, and Melik Kachan is playing Priyadarshan. Priyadarshan looks pretty good with those advantage of 3 points. He might win his game, so he will be with 5.5, and either tying with Victor at the second spot, and then we're going to have Andrei Gorovets. So very tight. I'm not sure who's going to be on the top after this round.
This might be one of those situations where we kind of wish we did have a playoff. Now let's take a look at the games that we have set for tomorrow. Remember, they do begin a little bit earlier, 2 hours earlier than the first 8 rounds. This is what we have to offer here.
Yeah, and I think that the game of the day might be Melik Kachian versus Andrei Gorovets. They're over there at the top, competing for one of the first places.
Specifically in Group B, Vitaly, what do you think the chances are that we're going to have co-champions in first place at the end of round 9?
Yeah, the chances are pretty big. I mean, everybody there at the top. We might have a tie. In that case, we just split the prize.
Yep, split the prize. A lot of people go home happy.
Yeah.
We'll come back later. Yeah. So this broadcast was produced by the world's greatest B team. Tammy Hyde is our technical advisor. Jonathan Schranz was getting our interviews today. Isaac Schranz is on sound and graphics. Our technical director is Danny Machuca. My name is Ben Simon.
And I'm Vitaly Neimer.
And remember, tomorrow the games begin at 11 a.m. Central on USChessChamps.com. We will begin our broadcast of the final round at 1:30 p.m. and we're going to talk to all the winners. It's going to be a huge shebang, a lot of fun. So until then, we say so long from the Show Me State.
This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club.